All right, all right. Shalom, shalom, Most High in Christ. All right, you tune in live, Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge, Biblical Scripture Breakdown class. You understand? Captain Natazak Nashar here. You understand? We get young man in here, ready to read, brother, ready to get it on. Most High in Christ. All right, man. So tonight we're gonna got a number of things to go over. Of course, we're in this terrible, terrible holiday season called this Christmas season. There's so many of our people wrapped up, tied up in these holidays, and really don't have any idea where it comes from. And because of how poor of a job the Christian church and our black leaders have done in raising us up as a people and giving us our identity, we are desperate looking for an identity and even go out trying to create our own identities. You understand? And these things, of course, don't ever lead us back to who we really are, which is God's chosen people. Take me to Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. We're going to start with Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. All right. Jeremiah 17 and 4. This is a very dangerous time, a very evil. We in the middle of Hanukkah. You understand? Hanukkah. We're going to go over some of that as well. You understand? Hanukkah. Remember our wars that we had fighting against the Greeks who took over our temple, took over our land, and we had to fight wars against them in order to get our temple back. Just like every nation has ever done. Of course, they know if they can separate us from our power. The word God in our language means power. It's not referring to the Most High like in English. When you see God, everyone assumes that that's talking about the God of the Bible. You understand? But the capital God that you are reading in English, you understand, especially if you're reading it in the New Testament, and most times that is not referring to the Most High. You understand? You see things referring to the Most High, you see capital Lord. You understand? There are many lords, there are many gods or so-called powers. Adam's sons were called the sons of God, who are also known as gods. Angels were also called the sons of gods, who are also known as gods. In Hebrew, it is Elohim, which you get which means powers. You understand? That's what it is. That's why we have the Hebrew language class or the Lashawan Kodash class every Friday in all of our ISUPK schools. And we also have the Sabbath service, which is every Saturday where you get to hear and in practice the biblical Hebrew, you understand, which is the native language of all so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This is our ancient native language, you understand? Before we ended up with English and French and Dutch and Portuguese and patois and all of these other slang languages and things that we created for ourselves, you understand, after we lost our heritage, which is why we started with Jeremiah 14 and Jeremiah 7 and 4. So go ahead and read what you got, young man.
Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
All right. That's what the Lord is saying there. So when we read in these scriptures there, all of those things, those lines, those commas, the Bible is not like a graphic novel where it just goes sentence for sentence, line for line. All of those things are very in-depth things where you got breaks, we got commas, we got all those punctuation marks. They completely change the dynamic of the scripture when you're reading them. In addition to that, you also have the definitions of the words that it means, not just the definition of what it means now, because our oppressor changes the definition of what words are every few centuries. That's why one of our textbooks for the school is the Zondervan's Bible Dictionary. And we also use the Merriam-Webster's Dictionary because a lot of the things that are in the Bible, our people have no idea what these words mean. And because when we relate to the Bible, our people automatically equate Christianity and church with the Bible, which they don't have anything to do with each other. And that is what we do here in ISUPK. We teach our people, we unlearn our people the lies and things that we have been taught, which is why we're going into Christmas as well. Hey, Shalom, sis, Yahweh Shemala Tashim Shah. All right. So I want you to read that one more time, and I'm going to show you where to stop there. All right. So just start at the top. All right.
Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, and thou.
That's something right there. You understand? And thou, see that comma right there? So when it says and thou is talking about you. And that's a very important thing that is easy to skip over, because it says and thou, meaning and you. That's what thou means. Now keep going from thou to the next comma. I'm going to show you something. Keep going.
Even thyself shall discontinue.
Just to the next comma. Just to that next comma there. So it says thou, even thyself. That comma, those commas, those things, there we go. That's dynamite right there. That's something very easy that can be skipped over. And it's written that way because the Bible is written to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. It's written to black people. And thou. Why does it say even thyself after thou? You know why it says that? Who knows why it says that? Who knows why it says that? We want to give it a shot. There's a couple of people in here. I know the class just started. You know, everybody not in here yet. All right. I might have to give it to you. Who want to give it a shot? Young man down there. Let's see. Why do you think it says and thou, and then as a comment it says even thyself? Why do you think it says that?
Make sure you include yourself.
Well, that's right. That is what it's saying. But give me a little bit more. Let's see where everybody's mind is. Why do you think, now? Why do y'all think? And thou, even thyself. Want to give it another shot? Or that's all you got?
I feel like, well, maybe if we're reading it, we might think that it doesn't apply to us. You know, if we are reading it.
Yes.
Maybe the one.
Yes.
That the ones that maybe brought up in the church so forth, been reading this and then realize that he's talking to you too.
That's very important. And it's very important. That's why all of these words that's in these scriptures, though they might seem small, all of the punctuations, the commas, the pauses, the way it's read, knowing where these things were, what was going on, these things were very important, because thou, even thyself, because the people that this is written to, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, black people swear that they already know everything, all the time, know everything. Everybody knows everything. You understand? Know everything. You understand? Our people, the Bible calls us a rebellious and stiff-necked people. Our people believe that being a Moor, and that Moor science and being a Moor is our identity. And say, we've always known that we Moors and this and that, and we the original this man and that. You understand? Those brothers do not have the heritage that the Lord gave them. Some people say, yeah, we the original man. Okay. And that's why all life started in Africa, right there in Egypt. We discontinue from our heritage. That is wrong. That's a lie. You understand? When the conscious community brothers say, yeah, and we was in Africa, and that's when Allah came and talked to what's his name, and he spoke to him on the mothership, and Elijah Muhammad was up on the mothership back in the 80s, and all kind of silly jailhouse, you understand, 24-hour lockdown, sitting in the hole, talking to yourself, losing your goddamn mind, thinking that everything that you learn is true. And you pray to the crystals. And if you burn sage, it'll ward off evil spirits in your house. That's why we got to see we're not supposed to eat meat. That's why we got to be a vegan. The Bible say you only supposed to eat the herbs. That's what it say in the book of Genesis. Like, our people have discontinued from their heritage that the Lord gave us. Being a vegetarian was not our heritage. In the very same book, when it talks about the herbs are for the healing of the nation and every green herb is for your meat, it also tells you the animals that are clean and unclean. And they're clean and unclean because there's a dietary law, because there were always animals that we were supposed to eat, and there were always animals that we were not supposed to eat. Just like there are herbs that you are not supposed to take. There are plants that you can't eat. You understand? Just for any reason. You can't just go eating them for whatever reason. Like, I'll give a prime example, which our people have a huge problem of. The milk of the poppy. Anybody knows what that poppy plant is from? The milk of the poppy, of that poppy leaf? Anybody knows what that is? Anybody ever heard of that? Nobody know what the poppy leaf? The poppy is where you make your opioids from. That extract from that poppy plant, that white milk that comes out of it, that's what they use to process, to make heroin. I believe it's also used to make morphine, to make all those opioids, your codeines, your Vicodins, your Oxycontins, your lean, your syrup. All of those things come from the milk of the poppy, which is a plant. But you can't just go eating every plant that's out there. Poison ivy is a plant. Oak is a plant. You understand? Like, we have a heritage that the Lord gave us. And our people have always been so stubborn to think that we know better than the orders that the Most High gave us. That's why we lost our heritage. He took it from us. Now we are fighting to take it back. You understand? So thou, even thyself, read from there,
shall discontinue from thine heritage that I have gave thee.
That's right. We shall discontinue from the heritage that the Lord gave us. Because we discontinued from the heritage that the Most High gave us, we now need to be skeptical of everything that we've ever been taught in our lives now that we're coming into the truth. We were told that Christmas was the birth of Jesus Christ. We were told that Jesus Christ is a white man. Even though he came from the Middle East, somehow he was white, his mama was white, his daddy was white, everybody was white, just like all the movies say. You understand? That's what we were told. We were told December the 25th was his birthday. We were told that he was born in the manger. You understand? We were told that his mother magically got pregnant and his daddy was cool with it when his woman came up pregnant, talking about this our baby and God did it. You understand? We've been told a bunch of lies, like the Easter Bunny, even though rabbits don't lay eggs, and tooth fairies, naked white babies with wings, color doesn't matter. We all celebrate the same things. There's only one God. We've been taught a lot of things. And one of the bases to coming into the truth, the Lord wants our people to learn, is that you're being born again, you have to be raised over. You understand? And a part of being raised over is knowing what is right, what is wrong, what's up, what's down, and the fact that even though you have been alive and you've been grown and however many years before you come into the truth, we have to unlearn those things continuously that we were taught, like how to read the Bible, like what the Lord said, like personal relationships with God. None of those things exist in the Bible. You understand? So when the Lord says we would discontinue from our heritage, there's a lot of things that our people instinctively do because that is what the society around us says to do. You understand? There's a lot of things that our people accepted because we tried to fit into society instead of being separate like we were. We came out of slavery, we were separate. We were in slavery, we were still separate. Their culture ruled over us, but we were separate. They didn't include us in their life. We weren't a part of them. We were their entertainment. We were their business. We were their tools that they used to gain their wealth, to make the things that they want popular. That is the only thing that we have in this empire to our oppressors. We're not one with them, and the Lord wants us to separate our identity from them, like separating from these holidays, because that is what that's one of the strongest things that ties our people into the identity of our oppressor. The Lord wants us to be separate so that he can destroy them to free us. You understand? So now we want to go there. So keep reading on 17:4.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
Exactly. The Lord said we would serve our enemies in a place we didn't know. He didn't say we would serve our enemies in our home, like we are in a land that we don't know. Of course, we've been here for hundreds and hundreds of years. So in our people's mind, this is our home. If you're a Mexican, Mexico is your home. You understand? If you're Guatemalan, Guatemala is your home. If you're Puerto Rican, Puerto Rico is your home. It's the island you and your forefathers were raised on as far back as your people know history of. That's why the Bible says discontinued from their heritage. You understand? By knowing an important part of knowing our heritage is knowing, which a good father would teach his children, knowing the heritage of the other nations of people, so that we don't end up joining them in our ignorance, which is the default thing that we end up doing, like celebrating Christmas, like voting for our leaders, like expecting politicians to handle the issues in our communities, which no other race of people expect that. And if they do, it's because they've purchased a politician because they work for money like everybody else. Our people believe that votes is how politicians are on your side, because they knock on your door and say, hey, vote for me. I'm going to make the city safer. They can't make the city safer. Your bad kids are shooting everybody and stealing cars. How the hell is he going to make your city safe from an office downtown when he does not have to be in this neighborhood? You understand? Like, we believe in things that are unrealistic. All right. So now the Lord said we would discontinue from the heritage that he gave us and that we would serve our enemies. You understand? That's something very important that we need to realize, that an enemy, this is someone that does us harm. Their culture, their society harmed our people. Their way of thinking harmed our people. You understand? Their holidays harm our people. Lots of robberies, lots of shootings, lots of murders, lots of fighting, lots of families get destroyed, broken up. You understand? On these holidays, trying to go and get money for toys and presents and buy gifts, and everybody fighting who's going to go to whose house and who didn't make what, and who's cheap with their presents, and why you don't have the money for this, and why these your kids, why didn't you get the toys, and you don't never help, and when you around, and all of this old kind of stuff, pretending like we are supposed to have a family celebration the way that our oppressors have a family celebration. Our celebrations is the high holy days that the Lord gave us. That's how our family functions. That's our heritage that the Lord gave us, like Hanukkah, which we come together as a nation, remembering how the other nations of people sought to wipe us out. And that makes us strong. Our people always talk that unity, black unity, this, black unity. Well, we can't be united unless we have an identity. Everyone can't have their own individual identity and then try to unite the same people. That doesn't work. It hasn't worked since we came out of slavery and start trying to be Moors and Muslims and Christians and Democrats and Republicans. It didn't work when we were trying to be the damn Egyptians. That's why we kept going back into captivity. You understand? So the Lord said we would discontinue from the heritage that he gave us, and we would serve our enemies. You understand? In a land that we did not know. Why was that? Keep going from there.
For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger.
You understand? The Lord said, because you kindled a fire in mine anger, made me angry. The Lord said, we kindled a fire in his anger. Keep going.
Which shall burn forever.
Which shall do what?
Which shall burn forever.
It shall burn forever. When the Bible says it shall burn forever, this is slang, meaning it's going to seem like this is happening forever. It's going to seem like we're getting killed forever. We're going to be in slavery forever. You understand? It's going to seem like we're the first fired and last hired, working the 9 to 5 and the 6 to 10 forever, paying more taxes than you get to keep the money forever, struggling to keep the family together forever. You understand? All kind of problems is going to seem like this forever because the things that we have done as a people have angered the Most High. Now let's get straight into it from there. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 10. Let's dive right into it. Jeremiah chapter 10. All right.
All right. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
You understand? Jeremiah chapter. Right. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. The Lord is saying, hear what he's saying. This is only written to the house of Israel. All right. So keep going. Give me verse 2.
Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
Said the first thing he said was, do not learn the culture of the heathen. Don't learn their way. Don't learn their culture. Don't take their traditions. Don't marry them. Don't bring them amongst your people. The Lord was very strict and very specific on this, and he said it repeatedly. Don't learn the way of the heathen. You understand? Now, he's going to tell you what specific way of the heathen is going to be highlighted here. All right? Keep going.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
And don't be dismayed at the signs of heaven. What are the signs of heaven? What is that talking about? Who knows what the signs of heaven are? All right. Who knows what a sign of heaven is? All right. First, let's see, what is this? What is the heaven? What is heaven talking about here in the scripture? Let's see what heaven is. All right. You got heaven in the Bible. It says at the signs of heaven. Right? The signs of heaven. It's talking about you have heaven, you have the kingdom of heaven, which is a condition of rulership on the earth. That's Christ's kingdom that we're working to set up. That's heaven. You have the area in outer space known as the heavens. You understand? You got outer space. You have the fourth dimension where the Most High is, with a throne room. In the fourth dimension, with his throne, the 24 elders that surround the throne, Christ seated at the right hand of the Most High, the crystal lake that sits in front of the throne. You understand? The four beasts that surround him in his chair made of fire with thunders and lightnings. You understand? That's in the Bible. You read that in Revelation. Then you have the heaven where the birds fly, where the sky is. So if you look up at a sign in the sky, it's saying this because we were in captivity under the Babylonians. These are Babylonian customs that is getting ready to be brought out here. You understand? Which is what Christmas is. Christmas is a Babylonian custom. It predates anything to do with Christ. It predates anything to do with the birth of Christ, the New Testament. It doesn't have anything to do with the Bible. It doesn't have anything to do with the God of the Bible. None of the things surrounding Christmas are biblical. They don't have anything to do with the God of the Bible. All right. So we're going to dig into this Christmas here. It says, be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, because when you look up at the heavens, what do you see? Now that we know that the skies and outer space are heaven, because you can't see into the fourth dimension, and the kingdom of heaven is a condition of rulership. That's not something that you would be looking at a sign to see. You would be living in the kingdom, just like we are living in America. You understand? It's all around you. So when it says the signs of heaven, this is something that you would look up in the sky to see. All right. Now, when you look up in the sky where the heavens are, what are you going to see? You understand? What would you see? You see stars. You see asteroids. You see meteorites. You see things falling from outer space. Well, the heathens worshipped those stars. They worshiped things that fell from outer space like rocks. that rock that is in Saudi Arabia, in Mecca, that they put a box over, that every good Muslim is supposed to travel and go to Mecca at least once in their life and circle around that rock and kiss that rock, because a rock fell from space. That rock fell from space, like many rocks fall from space, and landed in the desert. They took and they put a box over that rock. They put a bigger box over that rock. And then they made that rock, that sign coming from heaven, they made that thing a central focal point of their culture, their religion, of the Arab world. In order to travel in the Middle East, you understand, without GPS and satellites, all these things, you got to think this is thousands and thousands of years ago. In order to travel, because you cannot travel during the daytime, it's 120, 130 degrees all throughout the desert. You're going to die. Whatever you're traveling with, whoever you're traveling with, most of them are going to die. When we traveled in the wilderness, we had a gigantic cloud covering us. That cloud was a chariot, was a UFO, was an angel sent by the Most High to cover us as we went through, you understand, throughout the day. At nighttime, it was a pillar of fire. It lit up so that we could see at night, because we are out in the open desert. You understand, as we travel. All right. So to navigate your way throughout the desert, you would have to use these stars. The moon, which gives you the light, otherwise you'll die in the darkness, and the stars, which is going to show you which way to go. You understand? The Lord used to communicate with Adam using the stars. He taught Adam how to read the stars. He communicated with Adam through the stars. Adam was given instructions to teach to his sons the same laws, statutes, and commandments that were written down in the days of Moses. These laws are to not marry the other nations of people. You understand? These are laws. As a matter of fact, let's go there real quick, because this is why the Lord flooded the earth and killed everyone but 8 people. You understand? Another one of these myths, which is very good that intersects with what we're talking about. Another one of these myths, let's go to Genesis chapter 6. And there we go. Genesis chapter 6. Just hold Genesis chapter. Stay where you are. Hold Genesis chapter 6. All right. Another one of these myths. All right. Another one of these myths that 20-foot, 40-foot people walked across the earth, and those gigantic people were angels, because angels came down and had sex with women, and they were having sex with these women. And then they made superhumans, super people that were super big and tall. You understand? The subject of all of your mythologies. Anybody has ever played the video game God of War? Has anybody ever heard of that game before? You understand? So they get a lot of their material for the games. All of this Greco-Roman mythologies that they got from ancient Babylonian stories and tales. That's what we get ready to come up. We get ready to go over now. All of these things are tied into us discontinuing from our heritage. At one point in time, we knew this because we had a separate identity from these other nations of people. That's why we have these records. That's why we have these stories. This is our heritage. This is why the Chinese teach their people their Chinese heritage, while the Asians, the different Koreans, the Japanese, the Arabs, the various Africans, the white man. That's why they don't forget the Alamo. They don't forget the Holocaust, the Revolutionary Wars, the Civil Wars. That's why they have reenactments, because no one in their right mind will allow their culture to just go away and freely join someone else and throw themselves away. Like, no one will do that except one people in all of God's creation, and that's talking about the people written about in this Bible. You understand? These 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. So, the instructions that the Most High gave to Adam, he taught his sons. These are the same laws that he gave to Moses when Moses was in the wilderness, those 40 days and 40 nights, except he told Moses to write them. The first 5 books of the Bible, or known as the 5 books of Moses or the Torah, those are 5 books that Moses wrote after having the Lord tell him what happened. He wrote them down because previously they were not written down. He communicated with Adam, gave Adam orders, gave Adam's instructions on what to do. Adam taught his sons. That's why Cain and Abel in Genesis, the 4th chapter, when he murdered Abel, they both came to bring an offering unto the Most High. The only reason they brought an offering to the Most High because they knew the law of sacrifice. Otherwise, there's no reason to bring an offering. The Lord accepted what Abel brought because Abel obeyed what the orders were. Cain brought something from the ground, whatever he felt should be acceptable, which is the spirit that our oppressor has always had. He never wanted to obey the Father. He wanted to do his own thing. He wanted to be a rebel. He wanted to be the counterculture. And that is why the Lord despised him from the very beginning. You understand? That's what led him to be rejected. That's what led him to be a murderer. You understand? And today, he's the devil that the Bible speaks of because that has always been the spirit of Cain, which was born back again in the earth in Esau, who today is the so-called white man, the father of these so-called Caucasians, all of their various families. So now we're at Genesis chapter 6. So when you go to Genesis chapter 6, hey, shalom, brother. You go to Genesis chapter 6 and start at verse 1.
Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them.
When who began to multiply on the face of the earth?
When men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them.
So men are multiplying. Men are multiplying. They're having families. They're filling the earth up. And daughters were born unto them. So you got men, they having daughters. All right. Keep going.
That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair.
All right. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men. It's very important to know what that means. The sons of God and the daughters of men. It's very important to know what that is. All right. The sons of God and the daughters of men. These are 2 distinct classifications of people. You understand? 2 distinct classifications of people, and it is extremely important, which is why Genesis is the most widely misunderstood, most incorrectly interpreted book in the entire Bible, Genesis and Revelation. Nobody knows what's in Genesis or Revelation. You understand? Everybody making up stories. Christ's going to come back and sing for everybody. Everybody going to go up in the sky and have a big party. The world is going to be blown up and everybody's just going to live in heaven from now on. You understand? Nobody knows what's in Genesis. Nobody knows what's in Revelation. All right? Everybody's lying. Nobody knows outside of the ISUPK, because no one is given the authority to teach the Bible. All right? So now, I'm going to read this scripture here. Who are the sons of God? All right? The sons of God is very important. Stay where you are. I don't want you to go anywhere. I want you to stay right where you're reading. We're going to get who are the sons of God. In Luke, who your father is extremely important. It's the most important thing in the entire Bible. Most important thing in life is who your father is. That is why our oppressor in the Christian church works so hard to push feminism, to separate our people from our actual identity, which comes from the Father. Your mother doesn't give you an identity. Your mother takes whatever identity was given to her by whoever is in charge. That's why Pharaoh knew to kill the male children but leave the women alive, because if you get rid of the man, the woman will marry themselves to whoever has the power, which is why America knew that if they offer the woman housing, food, clothing, shelter, employment, and education, all at the expense of getting rid of her man, that she would take it and get rid of the man. It's the same thing that the serpent offered Eve. You will have the power, you will have knowledge, you will be in charge, you will be at the top. Same thing he promised Eve. You understand? It's all the same thing that Pharaoh did in Egypt. You understand? Life is circles. You understand? Things move in a circle. The world is a circle. Everything is done in cycles. You understand? It's constantly repeating the same cycle. The Bible says that there is nothing new under the sun. That's in the book of Ecclesiastes. I believe it's the third or the fourth. I think it's the third chapter. About 3 and 15, 3 and 14 for whoever wants to write that down. All right. So now we have the daughters of men and the sons of God. Who are the sons of God? If you can write this down in your notes. If you go to Luke, the 3rd chapter, it lists the entire genealogy of the lineage going back to Adam to show how and why Christ had the right to sit on the throne of King David. Who is his lineage? The father of the father of the father of the father. That is important. It starts about Luke chapter 3 and verse 23. I'm going to read it so you don't have to go there. But Luke chapter 3 and verse 23, it says, Yahushua himself began to be about 30 years of age, being as was supposed, it's saying as supposed, the son of Joseph. Then it lists the lineage of all the males in that family. You understand? You cannot have a family without that man. You cannot. If you bring all the money, all the wealth, all the resources, the housing, the food, the clothes, the shelter, the degrees, the education, the cars, everything, and you remove that man from the house, those children are more likely to end up dead or in jail with everything else. You understand? Missing, going astray, everything. The woman is not to be in charge. That's not how life is supposed to function. All right? That's why it's constantly equating things to the man, this, the father, the man, the man. This feminist society that America has pushed on our people has ruined us. You understand? And it is not biblical. It is completely against God. It's the same demonic tool that the serpent used against Eve in the garden. And it is more reason why our people cannot understand what's in the Bible, because they think it's mommy based. They think it's based around a woman, which is false. Nothing in the Bible is based around a woman. You understand? So Luke chapter 3, and it starts at 24, where I was reading 23. It says Yahushua himself, Yahushua is Jesus in the Hebrew, all right, began to be about 30 years of age, being the son of Joseph, as was supposed, which was the son of Heli. Then it lists from 23 all the way down to the end of that chapter. These are all the males of that lineage. Verse 31, you get to King David. 32, you have Jesse, which was King David's father. Then it's going down the entire lineage. You understand? The whole lineage going all the way back to the very first man that was created. All right? You got Noah. Then you got Noah, Noah's father, his father. Then you got Enoch. And from Enoch's lineage, you got those men. Then you get all the way down to Luke chapter 3 and verse 38. This is the precept for sons of God. So you understand what it's being talking about. Verse 38, it says, which was the son of Enos, which was the son of Seth, which was the son of Adam, which is the very first man, which was the son of God. You understand? So this is the lineage of Christ going all the way back to Adam, who was the very first man. Our lineage is important. All right? This is Luke chapter 3 and verse 38. It says, this is the Son of God. So now, let's go back to Genesis chapter 6 and verse 2.
Genesis 6, verse 2. And they took them wives of all which they chose.
Genesis 6 and 2, start from the top.
Genesis chapter 6, verse 2. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair.
That who?
That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, and that they were fair.
That the sons of God are talking about Adam's sons. They saw the daughters of men who were not Adam's sons. And they were fair, they were beautiful, and they liked them. And they were beautiful, and what did they do? Keep going.
And they took them wives of all which they chose.
And they took wives of all of which they chose. They made wives of them, meaning the sons of God, Adam's sons, had sex with the daughters of men. You understand? They had sex with the daughters of men. Keep going. Give me verse 4.
Genesis chapter 6, verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days.
I understand. There were giants in the earth in those days. So when you read the Bible, there's a certain way you want to read the scriptures. It's not like reading a regular book. You understand? The Spirit of the Lord. You understand? These were giants in the earth in these days. Remember, these are black men writing these things, telling the stories about what's going on. All right? So when you read this, it shows these were giants. There were giants in the earth in those days. You want to come alive with these scriptures. You understand? There were giants in the earth in those days. Now, to a white man, a giant is someone that's 50 feet tall, 20, 30 feet tall. That's where they come up with all of this nonsense. There's gigantic men walking the earth. And look at this. You see this? This is a 50-foot footprint. Look at the bones. There were giants in the earth. King David killed all of them. King Og of Bashan, the Bashanites, the Amorites, Sihon, the king of the Amorites. The Lord gave orders. King David killed every last one of them. That was it for them. These giants is going to tell you right in the scripture what or who these giants are. So there were giants in the earth in those days. All right, keep going.
And also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them.
The sons of God came into the daughters of men. This is very specific. The sons of God had sex with the daughters of men, and they bare children. They had children. Keep going.
The same became mighty men.
They became what? No, hold on. You got to listen. You got to listen and read at the same time. Read that again. They became what?
Mighty men.
They became angels. What?
Mighty men.
They became a mighty what?
Mighty men.
They became a mighty man. They became men. They were mighty men. They were giants in the days. The giants is not talking about a 20-foot man. That's what white men say. Because the Bible is written in slang. And because it's written in slang, which is the spiritual way God communicates, that the Bible communicates, is written the way that blacks and Hispanics would naturally speak. You understand? That's how it's written. So let's pull this up here. Bear with me just a second. They became giants in those days. You understand? They became giants. Doesn't mean that they're a gigantic 20-foot, 30-foot man. You understand? But they had power. They became filled with power. Who had the power before? Adam did. Adam had the power because the Lord gave Adam the authority and the knowledge to rule and conquer, to name all the animals, to be in charge. All of those things the Most High had already given to Adam. The knowledge that he gave to Adam, Adam taught his sons. The knowledge that Adam taught his sons, those sons were supposed to pass down in that lineage to keep the inheritance of power going from generation to generation. And our people did what rich Negroes do. When Kanye West got his money right, just like he said, y'all remember that song? Wait till I get my money right. Kanye West got his money right. What did he do? He went out and did something. Venus and Serena Williams, Venus Williams, she got her money right. What did she do? Serena Williams got her money right. She married Common. What did Kanye West do? He married that sister that's been down with him since he wrecked the car and broke his jaw. That's what he did. What did O.J. Simpson do? What did Terrence Howard do? What did Shane Mosley do? When they got up, they got their money. What did they do? What did Charles Barkley do? You understand? Hey, shalom, brother. What did they do? They did what did Jack Johnson do? They did what rich, high-profile, big-head Negroes with power do. You understand? And in an evil society, which is why the Lord was mad, in an evil society, let's get the definition of the word giant. I want to see. I wish I could share this. The definition of that word, when it says, that's why it's important. That's why we read, write, speak, and teach the Hebrew. The definition of this word, giants, the giants. Ooh, 20-foot, 30-foot man. I'm gonna post to y'all the definition of this word giant. What is it in the Hebrew? The Nephilim. Oh my God, Yarash. 30-foot giants. 30-foot men. This is the biblical definition of what that word is, giant, in the Hebrew. You know what it says? Properly, a feller, a bully, a tyrant. That's what they became. It didn't say anything about becoming a 50-foot man. Rich Negroes got money, married white girls, and then they frowned at it, and then all of a sudden, now that Kanye West got a white girl, slavery was a choice. Now that Candace Owens went and got him a white man, you niggas need to get your stuff together. Yeah, we got to go and get white men. Now that Serena Williams ain't in Compton no more, learning how to be the best tennis player female that ever lived, playing on the Compton courts while they doing drive-bys, while she quit walking at Wimbledon, now that she at the top of the top, black men are just little boys. She got to go marry her a white man to have a serious relationship. They did what big head evil Negroes do once they got some power, some prestige, some fame. Nobody's going to look at anything special. My wife is black. Your wife is black. Yaraj's wife is black. My other wife, Native American. Your wife, Native American. Your wife, Dominican. And now here come this brother with Snow White. Unlike all the rest of us, she got hair that none of our wives or daughters have. She looks the way that we don't look. She eats things that we don't eat. She celebrates things that we don't celebrate. Her father is not like our fathers. She doesn't talk the way that we talk. She doesn't eat the way that we eat. Her family is different. You know what they call that? They say she's exotic. She's something new. Pop Smoke made a song. She's a foreigner. She's a foreigner. All of this old kind of nonsense, fantasizing and hyping up some heathen when our people were the best because the Lord made us better than everyone else. So when you read the definition, that's why we don't sing and dance in here. The actual definition of the word, the giants in those days, when you read up the definition, that's why we put it in the chat. It's a bully, a tyrant. They were rich Negroes. They got power. It's no longer about race. You Negroes need to pull yourselves together. I got mine. You niggas is broke. He's sitting up here with this Kardashian, this nasty whore that has been passed around by every nigga that touch or throw a ball anywhere on the planet, talking about, I got myself a trophy. I got myself a trophy. This the new Marilyn Monroe. That's what he was saying to that white woman. Took all four of his kids, get $200,000 a month in child support. Outrageous. She's a billionaire. He's not a billionaire anymore. She still get $200,000 a month in child support from him. These are things that angered the Lord. The Lord did not want them to have this knowledge. The Lord did not want them to have power because they didn't take it to serve the Most High. First of all, the Lord didn't choose them. They took it to do what any heathen would do. If you have rats in your kitchen, or a roach, or some drug or bug infestation in your house, they're not concerned with the health and the benefit of your house or your family. They're concerned about, how can I better the rest of my fellow roaches? What can I do for the rest? The possum, how can I get the next generation of possums to not have to live in the woods, but we can live in your old shoes and your teddy bears up in the attic? They don't give a damn about you and the source. They are doing what's best for them. Just like that heathen, when Samson married Delilah. Samson married Delilah, and she was thinking the whole time, out the water, Uriah, how can I come up for my people? He like, oh, baby, I love you so much. You my baby. You better than everything else in it. The parents is like, there's no sisters. You can't marry no sisters. You got to take this woman from our enemies. He like, no, you don't understand. I want to get her from you. She plotting on killing him, enslaving him, making a spectacle of him. He think he in love. She looking at the come up for her people. This angered the Lord. So when it says in Genesis chapter 6, there were giants in those days, these brothers forgot about brotherhood. They didn't care about what was best for their people. They didn't give a damn about the Most High. They were concerned about what is going to make this heathen wife I have happy. She's saying, yeah, put up a temple for Molech. Put up a temple for this God. Let's worship this God. Let's have Christmas. Let's have Halloween. Let's worship Samhain. Put up a temple over here. Let's see if we can sell these things that are all over our land. We drink this when we have our celebration. Next thing you know, half the damn kingdom is addicted to syrup. A bunch of drug addicts, and now we following their culture, thinking that the Rastas and the Shivas is so great with those damn dreadlocks. Half of our race is strung out on weed. You understand? These are the things that made the Lord flood the world and kill everybody except for 8 people. It all kept going downhill. So when you read, the sons of God made children with the daughters of men, and they were giants, they were bullies. They were bullies. They were evil. They were tyrants. They had power that they were never supposed to have, and they made children with heathens, which we were never supposed to do. And the Lord said, all right, I'm going to kill everybody. We're going to start over. I'm going to kill everybody that don't listen to Noah. We're going to start over with Noah. And that's exactly what happened. So now I want you to finish Genesis. I want you to go back. Give me Genesis chapter 6 and verse 3.
Genesis chapter 6, verse 3. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man.
He said, my spirit is not always going to keep fighting with y'all. You live in 800-900 years, evil as hell, making hundreds and hundreds of babies, spreading your word, spreading this religion, spreading the worship of the crystals. They sacrificing babies to Molech. They in there sacrificing babies into a damn furnace to worship the sky gods. They put a lot of the things that they base these horror movies off of. Many of these things, when you actually look up to what was their inspiration, where did they come up with the ideas for these stories? It was these old silly customs that the heathens worship. Like one of my favorite horror movies is Sinister. And this Sinister was based around some ancient deity that went around and took and preyed on children's souls so that he could keep getting stronger and live forever. Some ancient Babylonian deity that they worship, which was really a statue, and some perverted bastards that followed and worshiped this cult that went around killing and kidnapping children, claiming that they collecting spiritual powers. That's what all of this nonsense is. And of course, it doesn't work if you're not strung out on drugs, if you're not on the peyote, if you're not on opioids, if you're not drinking the milk of the poppy, if you're not smoking the ganja plant, if you're not taking this leaf and mixing the tea with the syrup. You have to get high. Otherwise, none of this nonsense is real. There's no real power in it. That's why the Lord rose up the prophets to show our people, defile the gods of the other nations. Don't join them. Don't marry them. Our people said, to hell with that. I'm going to give me a white girl. And we've been dying ever since. You understand? So this is what's going on in Genesis, the 6th chapter. before we go back to Jeremiah, the 10th chapter. So keep going, please.
For that he also is flesh,
Uh-huh.
yet his days shall be 120 years.
His days shall be 120 years, because before man's days was 900 years. You understand? So keep going. Give me 4.
There were giants in the earth in those days.
Mhm.
And also after that, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown.
Men with power. They're giants. They're bullies. They're the big dog in the neighborhood. They stepping on people. They sliding on people. They robbing people. They running gangs. They running crews. People getting snatched up and robbed, gunned down. You understand? They the big dog. They Tukey. You understand? They got crews. They got gangs. They doing all manner of evil and wickedness. And the Lord is like, listen, I'm going to cut everybody's lifespan short. I'm not going to have 800, 900 years of this forever. You understand? This has got to stop, which is what the Lord was saying. All right. So keep going.
And Genesis 6, chapter 5. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
Uh-huh. He saw that man's heart was evil. So everything was, it was all going downhill from how he had planned it with Adam. He said, all right, I'm going to start over. So this is what's going on in Genesis. In Genesis chapter, the 6th chapter, this is why the flood came. This is why he told Noah, I'm going to start everything over. I'm going to flood the whole world. Nobody knew what rain was. Nobody listened to Noah until the day that it started to rain. Then they knew that Noah was a prophet of the Lord. By that time, it was too late. All right. So now, we're going to fast forward, and we got a little background information to see what is going on. Now, we are going to go back to Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, and verse 2. We're going to go back to Jeremiah 10 and 2. All right.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
The heathen are troubled by the signs of heaven, by the stars and the different moons, the crescent moon and the blood red moon and the full moon. That's why they have all kind of dancing and fertility things based on the cycles of the moon and the earth, and they worship this god because the crops are bad. So we got to worship the cattle and worship this because the cattle fertilizes the land and it's so big and strong. So let's worship the cattle. And then we got to worship the dog and the cat because it could see at night. And all of these things that our people did, these were heathen customs that the Lord told us never to learn. One of this in particular, which we're getting ready to get into, you understand, we're not going to get ahead of it. That's why, but if you look at Islam, which is an actual Middle Eastern religion, you see that the symbol of Islam is what? Who knows what the symbol for Islam is? I want to give it a shot. Go ahead, Uraj.
Comic-Con, so the moon and the star.
The crescent moon and the star. Why is it the crescent moon and the star? Because they worship the stars. Because they need the stars to navigate through the desert. They need the moon to be able to see. You can't do most of their traveling during the daytime. Everybody's going to die. It's 130, 120 degrees. You understand? So at night, you can do the majority of your moving. That's right. The moon. That's correct. Is the moon. So the Lord is saying, don't look up at the moon and the stars talking about, I'm a zodiac. I'm a Capricorn. I'm a Sagittarius. Well, you know that the Sagittarius, they really go good. See, that's why your relationship didn't work. It's the Gemini. You can't be with the Gemini. You got to be with the Capricorn. You know, the Leos, they get money. And all of this old silly nonsense that is very feminine, is very dumb. It's a very heathenistic practice. All the Christians do it. Sisters love this nonsense, like burning crystals, like buying Christmas presents, putting a damn tree in your living room to set your house on fire. All of these things. It's really just marketed to women. A lot of this stuff, a lot of the riches and wealth in his empire, they're just marketed to women. You understand? Who want all of these different things. But that's why they do all of this damn marketing. You understand? This doesn't have anything to do with the kids. Kids don't want all of this stuff. Just like babies don't want birthday parties. Mothers want birthday parties. Men don't want marriage ceremonies. Mothers want their daughters to have that damn wedding with the $10,000 and the cake and the long train and everybody and the singers, and have goddamn boys to men singing, you know, and all of this money and the thousands of dollars for cake, and all of the people that you don't halfway speak to, you invite to the damn wedding, and you pay just for the thing to end 6 months later. You understand? Like, that's just two women. You understand? So the Lord said, learn not the ways of the heathen. Don't be dismayed at the signs of heaven. Don't take your clue about what's going on, what's right and wrong, looking at the stars and the moon and the crystals, praying to the stars and the moon and the crystals, worshiping rocks that fall from space. That's what heathens do. You understand? So keep going. Let's get some more. Give me verse 3.
Jeremiah 10, verse 3. For the customs of the people are vain.
The customs of the people are vain. Means they don't mean anything. These are very vain, arrogant, meaning absolutely nothing. These are the customs of the people. Keep going.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe.
One goes into the forest and cuts a tree out of the forest. You understand? Why are they going into the forest cutting down trees? Trees are supposed to be in the forest. If you cut down the tree, is the tree going to survive? What's going to happen to the tree? If you cut it down, the tree's going to do what? Young man, what's the tree going to do if you cut it down out the forest?
Tree's going to die.
It's going to die. It's going to be in a state of decay. It's going to decline. It's going to die. You understand? So you go into the forest where trees belong. You cut the tree down. You take it out the forest. Keep going. Let's get some more. What's going on with this tree?
Verse 4. They deck it with silver and with gold.
They deck it. Those words are very specific. This was written in Hebrew, and they translated it by Hebrew scholars into the King's English at that time. They deck it with silver and gold. It is not by coincidence that the words that you are seeing and reading in the Bible directly correlate with the things that you see and hear and have been told your entire lives. The problem is we've never been taught what's actually in the Bible that you can finally learn now that you are in the ISUPK. When you hear the songs, they talking about they deck it, deck the halls with boughs of holly, deck the halls with boughs of jolly. Deck what? Deck means decorate. Decorate the halls. Decorate the what else? This damn tree that you just chopped down out of the forest. Keep going.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers.
They got to take nails and hammers. They got to fasten it to make it fast, make it strong. Why do they have to fasten it? Because it's a dead tree that you cut down. It used to be able to stand up on its own, but you went into the forest and you took an axe and you cut it down. Now you have to make it stand up. This is why they have what's known as a tree stand. You got a tree stand. You set the tree in the middle of that thing. They tighten it. They fasten it with nails and with hammers. It would be done with a hammer with nails. Now they got a tree stand where you screw in the tree to make sure that it doesn't move, even though it probably falls over what? Every other week, your kids, your cat, the dog knocked the damn tree over, set the living room on fire. You understand? Well, this is in the Bible. The Lord is saying, don't do this. All right? We're going to get all the way into it tonight. Keep going.
That it move not.
Because they're saying they want to make sure that it does not move. All right? They're decorating it so that it does not move. All right? Salaki, give me just a moment. Salaki, Officer Yaraj, go ahead and take over from here real quick. I got to take this call. All right? You got it? All right.
You can go ahead and continue reading biblical shot.
Verse 5, they are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil. Neither also is it in them to do good.
Start from the top, biblical shot.
Jeremiah 10, verse 5. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not.
They are what?
They are upright as the palm tree.
Everybody needs to know there's a reason why the scriptures is saying that they're upright like a palm tree. Like, I want you guys to think Christmas. All right. Everybody, everybody once was in the world. Everyone has seen a Christmas tree before. So the Christmas tree that stands upright. All right. Like, this is a heathen custom. This is a heathen culture. Everyone thought, a Christmas tree and getting a Christmas tree was an American type thing. You understand? Like, it started in America. It didn't. It's such an ancient practice. Continue reading for me, soldier.
But speak not. They must needs be born.
But they what? But hold on. Go back. It says, but what?
But speak not.
Now, the reason why I told the brother, all right, to repeat himself, because words are very important. All right. Everyone hears Captain say this. I'm going to say it too. I've been trained, all right, to focus on certain words in the Bible because Christians are not. You understand? That but, that's an important word. Like and is an important word. Or, these are important words because it changes the narrative of whatever is being said. But speak not. Now, everyone, why is it saying it speaks not? Can anybody think? Think Christmas. Think the Christmas tree. Think Dr. Seuss. Think Santa Claus. Think Rudolph, Prancer, and Dancer, all this other type of BS. Why is it saying, all right, speak not? You want to give it a try, soldier? Anyone online in the live chat too? Why is it saying speak not?
Because it doesn't have the power to answer any of your wishes.
It does not. That is true. That is actually very true. It does not have any power at all to answer any of your prayers or nothing. But there's a reason why it's saying speak not. Think more so. I'm not trying to give the answer away. Some brothers and sisters may know it too. But I want you to think too, soldier. What do Christians do to a Christmas tree besides put it up? And we already got through the scripture how you nail it, you deck it with silver and gold. What else do you do with a Christmas tree besides you deck it with silver and gold and all the balls, the red, the green, the gold, the silver, whatever? What else do you do to it or do with it?
Sing to it.
That's correct. That's correct. Give the brother a hand. That's correct. Right. Well, yeah, that is true. You do put gifts under a Christmas tree, but that's also a Babylonian practice. All right, of giving gifts to the tree because you would get. I don't want to take the entire class. All right, and get to and just go ahead and skip to certain points. But we're going to focus on the scripture right here. But what the brother said is absolutely correct. We have been taught to sing to trees. Now, if you've seen anyone sing to a tree, imagine if this wasn't Christmas time and some brother or some individual is in the middle of goddamn nowhere and he just starts singing to a goddamn tree. You would think that he's crazy. You would think that he's nuts. You would be like, what is this guy on crack? Is he doing coke? He's on promethazine? Like, what is going on with this random brother or this random person singing to a tree? You're wondering why he's saying la 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 la. You're just wondering. You're wondering why is he doing this? That's a Babylonian practice. We have been taught by American society as well, which is one of the daughters of Babylon, scripturally speaking. We have been singing to these trees. We sing, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I saw mommy sleeping with Santa Claus. However that songs go, whatever it is. Grandma got ran over by a ram. All these Christmas carols All right, Silent Night, all this type of disgusting Christian garbage. We sing these things to this tree as if it's real, as if it speaks to us. We're singing to this tree as if it's going to communicate with us, and at least, or as if it's going to do something for us. And that's why it's an idol. That's why it's another God that we're not supposed to be serving. You understand? We're not supposed to be doing these things. That's why it says we're supposed to serve the Lord. That's why it says serve no other God, but no, don't serve any other God before me. There's a reason why throughout the Bible is telling us to do these things. It is very important to realize these things. So start that from the top. Like I said, what?
They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not.
Because they don't speak to you. They're not going to communicate to you. This tree is nothing. It's just a wood, right? Just wood, and we're referring to the evergreen tree. All right, we're referring to the evergreen tree. Okay, and the evergreen tree is just a wood, bark, whatever, with the bristles, the leaves on it, the kind of pricks. An evergreen tree has a certain kind of leaves on it with the pine cones. It really just depends on what kind of evergreen tree we're talking about. But that's really all it is. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Making sure this is all right. All right, go ahead. Continue reading, Soldier Salaki.
They must needs be born.
It said what?
They must needs be born.
They must needs be born. Now, what does that mean? Anybody want to give it a guess? Anybody know what it means? They must needs be born.
You got to take care of them, but they can't do anything for themselves.
Well, that's okay. That okay. That's close. Anybody else want to give it a shot? That's pretty much almost on point. Anybody else? They must be born. What does it mean they must be born? The brother pretty much said it correct. All right. Meaning you have to, they don't speak to you, and pretty much in order for you to get this, you have to take it. You have to pick it up. You have to cut it. You have to place it into your house. All right. It must be born. You can't this is not, it's not a power like the Most High is. All right. It's not an all-powerful God. It can't do things on its own. All right. It's just a tree. But our God can. Our God created everything. This tree has done nothing. But we sing to it when we have no business singing to it. You understand? Everybody get the point? Well, our power created everything. Well, our power, just builds everything from scratch. You understand? He's the powerful. You guys get the point. He's the Lord. All right? This tree is nothing. All right? This tree is absolutely nothing. It's just like any other normal tree in the woods. All right? You have to put it into your house in order to sing to it. You have to put it into the middle of Times Square to sing to it, even though it's going to do nothing for you. Kind of caps back.
It's not alive. It can't be on its own. In fact, now that you cut it down out of the forest, it's dying. It was a living tree in the forest. You're going to cut the damn tree down and then start singing to the tree to make it feel better now that it's going to die. You understand? Like, it's absolutely foolish. The water, Urash. It's absolutely foolish. But this is something that we are trained to do. And we don't know why. That's why we're getting into it. We don't know why. We don't know where it comes from. And our people, that's why the Bible calls us the children of Israel. It calls us lost sheep. Because a sheep is just going to follow whatever, whether it's detrimental, if it's good, if it's bad. if the other 100 sheep have died from being homosexuals and they got AIDS, there's still going to be new sheep still taking this lifestyle and dying of AIDS. If this many sheep all started smoking crack, all started shooting heroin, taking opioids in the 70s, in the 80s, and this massive wave of death has happened. 60 years later, there's still going to be new sheep doing this exact same thing. That's why the Lord called us sheep. And sheep need a good shepherd to protect them from danger, to correct them, to keep them in line, and to fight off the evil that is seeking to kill the sheep. You understand? And this holiday, though it does not seem like it is dangerous, this is something extremely dangerous that angers the Most High. Like when we started in Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4, the Lord said, "You've kindled a fire in mine anger." The Lord doesn't just forget about you making him angry, because right after Thanksgiving, which infuriated the Most High, which was after Halloween, which infuriated the Most High, you understand? Then you got New Year's Day, another Halloween, another celebration of another God, of another people's culture that they take to worship one of their many gods that they depend on to navigate the woods and the forests and to get their crops to grow, because they don't really understand how life works. They don't know the Most High, because just like it says, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any other nation. It's like it says in Psalms 147 and 19. You understand? They don't know the Most High. So they got to guess and make up a culture for themselves. And just like it says in Genesis, the 6th chapter that we read, once the sons of God, who had more knowledge than their forefathers did, showed them how things actually worked, they didn't go now and follow and serve the Most High. They took a piece of a culture that was not for them, and they made a religion for themselves, to get wealth for themselves. All of this is about making money. It doesn't have anything to do. The whole transgender thing, the whole homosexual thing, all of it is about making money. It doesn't have anything to do with freedom and this and that. They manipulate people to get their money. Christmas, all year long, America is the place that murders the most babies on the entire planet. No place on the planet kills more babies than the United States of America. Hundreds of thousands a year that no one has a problem with, except a couple of Catholic churches, a couple of groups here and there, and us. Everybody else is fine with it. You understand? All of a sudden, the kids need toys. The kids need to have a Christmas. The kids need to feel like somebody loves them. You've been sending them to church to get molested every goddamn week. Even after they told you, you kept sending them there. Even after they told you that the Olympic doctor was molesting them since 11 years old, you still sent them to play flip in the goddamn Olympics in a pair of drawers. You understand? In a skin-tight leotard with all the pedophile coaches and the doctor that is molesting everybody, Dr. Nadal, you kept sending them there. You understand? All of a sudden, the kids matter. Like, it isn't about the kids. It's just about getting your money. It's a scam to get your money. That's what the conscious community is. That's what the worshiping of Egypt is. That's what the Moorish Science Temple is. It's a bunch of scams. If you fill out this paperwork, you can be sovereign. Buy my paperwork. Buy my book. Join my group. Here's my club. Here's our membership. I sell pies. I sell shirts. I make shoes. Get your hat. Come to our group. Buy this purple dress. It's $1,500. Buy this candy cane colored dress. It's this much money. Join this. Here's a fee. All of these things is a bunch of goddamn hustles and scams that are run on our people. That's what the church is. That's what every other people know, that these people are these suckers that everyone can take a piece of because they refuse to turn back to their own culture. They refuse. The Moabites knew it. All throughout the Bible, it's the same thing over and over again. They don't want their own woman. They want to get the Chinese woman. King Solomon did the same thing. Samson did the same thing. Adam's sons in Genesis, the 6th chapter, they did the same thing. Everything is a cycle. There's nothing new under the sun. And because there's nothing new under the sun, you already know how it's going to end because it's already recorded in the Bible. You understand? It's already recorded. So now, what scripture, what number you at?
Jeremiah 10, verse 5.
Yeah, Jeremiah 10 and 5. Start from the top of 10 and 5 again. And Yarash, get me Nimrod. Give me the good Nimrod story. Get Nimrod. It should be just, I just seen it on Facebook. You should be able to pull the story. We got Nimrod that talks about him and the mother and her lion saying, my son is born again, all of that. It should be one of the first things that come up. Just pull that up so we can read that real quick. Go ahead and give me 5 from the top, warrior. The water.
Jeremiah 10, verse 5. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not.
They're upright as the palm tree. It's saying it's upright as the palm tree because a palm tree is a specific type of tree. It's what's known as an evergreen tree. It's a family of trees. Most trees, if you cut them down, they're going to start dying. They're not going to maintain their leaves into the winter. What do most trees, most flowers, most plants, most animals, what do they do in the winter?
They die.
They die. Exactly. They die. But there's one tree. There's one family. There's one type of tree that does not die in the winter. That's not going into winter hibernation. This is a tree that's going to stay evergreen all year, like a pine tree, like the palm tree. It's up and it's green. When everything else is dead, this one is alive. This one is special. This one has power. Something's in this tree. Look at that star. You see that star, brother? That's your lucky star. You see that? You know what that is? That's the great grand this and that. And you know what this is? I got this crystal right here. This crystal descends from the original grand something that fell out the sky. And you know what this will do? If you put this around your neck, girl, it's going to ward off evil spirits. And when you set it on fire, this is the smell it mix. And I sell this too. And you get that crystal and you put the crystal in your home and you see these cards. I got these cards that'll tell you your future. Before you know it, you're going to see Miss Cleo. You're talking to the sage man. You're burning crystals. You got a goddamn tree in your living room, 7 foot tall. You can't pick the tree up if it falls. It's shedding pine needles everywhere. It's dry. You're trying to put water on it. It's falling over. You're running up your electric bill. Your bad kids that don't listen to you all year long. You're spending thousands of dollars on toys. When you get old, they're going to still put you in an old folks home and not come visit you. You understand? They're still going to abort your grandbabies. They're going to tell people that my daddy wasn't nothing, even though you putting up all this damn Christmas toy money. The first time you get a decent paycheck all year, it's got to go to the damn Christmas. You understand? And by January, everything will be broke. Everything will be broke. February, you won't be worth a damn. And, you know, you might get a toothbrush and some mouthwash on Father's Day. It's a bunch of foolishness. It's all a bunch of scams. And the Lord is telling these things. Just like last week's class, the Lord has given us things. Not only these are rules and laws and commandments to make us not be the suckers of everyone on the world, which is how we looked at today, but to make us a wise and understanding people. What nation have laws so righteous and a power so near unto them? This is what it said in Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 6 and verse 7. So they're upright as the palm tree. Give me from as the palm tree.
But speak not.
But speak not. They don't speak. You singing to it, talking to it, old Christmas tree. You understand? That practice is thousands of years old. This is not AD. 2,000 years. The calendar we have now is an AD calendar. It's after death. 2,000 years. You understand? Before that 2,000 years, if you go back to subtract to 0, there was a whole nother set of years before BC, before Christ, during his era, CE, and then he dies, And then they start a whole world calendar over, which is AD. After death, we are AD right now. 2,000 years ago, it was CE. Before that, it was BC. This comes from BC. Before 2,000 years ago, they were putting these damn trees up, singing to it, putting presents on it, all of that. You understand? Why? Because these were the signs and the stars. That's the hustle and the game and the scam that they told you to get all of your money. We're going to see what it really is once he finished reading this story. Keep going. Finish verse 5, please.
They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil. Neither also is it in them to do good.
He said, be not afraid of them. Why would he say, be not afraid of them? Why was it necessary to say, don't be afraid of that tree? Contrary to what it is now, where you see that Christmas tree, now that they've made it more marketable, because our oppressor, this so-called Jewish man, he is the marketing king. That's why he runs the music industry. That's why he runs Hollywood. Before his marketing strategy took over America, America was you come here, you might get some land, you might get some religious freedom. He made America Hollywood and HBO and Las Vegas and the casinos and the Big Apple and Broadway. And look at these singing Negroes and the dances and football and a big sports arena and big baseball and basketball and music. He made America the bright attraction of the world. He doesn't have the talent. All he did was steal and lie and cheat and murder and rob. But he knows how to market. You understand? That's why they own everything. And they marketed things so well to everyone sees America now, not how it was seen before. Full of plagues and sicknesses, slavery, bunch of wars, all kind of things jumping off. America was not this safe grand jewel everybody wanted to be to, but they said, you come here, you get a job, you get a business, you get, this and that, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, Hollywood, cartoons, Disney. He made America. You understand? He made America. He owns the insurance companies. He owns the music, the diamond district, the shipping companies, all of those things, that wealth he got from slavery and the goods the slaves produced. He owns all of that. He has. And he made America what it is today. You understand? So now, thousands of years ago, Christmas was not the way. The first, it wasn't called Christmas. It was called something else. And when you saw that tree, you needed to know to not be afraid of the tree, because it came with very harsh consequences if you did not follow the strict rules that is now this wonderful, happy Christmas thing. It had harsh consequences before. That's what we get ready to read. You got the one I'm looking for, Urash, or you still looking?
Nah, sir. Still looking for this one article, sir.
I had it on, as a matter of fact, it was on the old thing page. I don't want to stop the broadcast for it. You can, of course, look it up. As a matter of fact, let me see. Let me see if it comes up. I want to open too many things. Let me see. Nimrod, Tammuz. You understand? Tammuz, Nimrod, right? His mother, Tammuz, YouTube. Well, I'll give you the short version. They got a control of Babylon, the Tower of Babel by Tammuz, Nimrod, Steph, and battle. All right, I'll give you the short version. All right. Did you finish verse 5?
Khan out of Khan.
Okay, verse 5. They're upright as the palm tree. They can't do right. Let's see. All right. So that's what that is. You got the Christmas tree. They sing into the tree. They cut it down out the forest. They put it in your living room. They selling the trees everywhere. You understand? They selling the trees. Talk about the Christmas spirit. The Christmas spirit is selling. That's the Christmas spirit. It's a big retail holiday. This is when most companies make their money back after posting straight losses all year. This is why they actually lowered items to the actual price that they were supposed to be all year long. That's why they have the Cyber Monday and the Black Friday with the doorbusters, jawbreaker sale, where everybody comes in and rushes to get all the toys and get the this and the that and the TVs at a different price than it would normally cost, because they're now pricing them to what they're actually worth. That's why everybody comes and get them. Normally, they inflate the price to make you go and spend all of this money. You understand? It's all a scam. It's all a hustle. Now, what is the actual Christmas? Christmas is not the birth of Christ. Christ was not born on December the 25th. December the 25th is the birthday of the Babylonian king. His name was Nimrod. You can read about Nimrod in Genesis, the 10th chapter, which we go over quite frequently in this class. Just to see, we got time. We at 37. We might have time to go through it. The Tower of Babel. Genesis, the 10th chapter. The Tower of Babel. All people spoke the same language. First great world empire. Everyone spoke the same language. Everyone had the same goal, the same idea. And they built a tower. The purpose for the tower, or this Tower of Babel as it later became known, you understand, as a matter of fact, take me to Genesis chapter 10 and verse 9. Genesis 10 and 9. All right.
Genesis 10, verse 9. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord.
Nimrod was a mighty hunter before the Lord. This mighty hunter was not a good thing. When it says he was a mighty hunter, this is because Nimrod, he was against what the Most High loved. He was against things. He was a man. He was a heathen, a Babylonian, you understand, an African king. Or today what we would know as an African. He was a heathen. The Lord did not love him. He did not love the Most High. He was a very evil man that the Lord despised him. And the things that he did were against the Most High, which is how he got this empire, the kingdom of Babel. All right. Which is where you get the word Babylon. He built the Tower of Babel. It became known as the Tower of Babel because the Lord changed everybody's language so that people could no longer communicate. And he made different races, or what we know today as different races of people. He diversified the people, changed everyone's language so that they could not communicate anymore. The Most High did that because of this evil Babylonian king, Nimrod, which is whose birthday everyone celebrates on December the 25th. All right. Hold on. So give me before the Lord, you give me verse 10.
And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar.
Right, the land of Shinar. This is in the Middle East. The beginning of his kingdom was Babel. All right. That was the beginning of his empire, ancient empire of Babylon. This is a Babylonian custom that we just finished reading about in the book of Jeremiah, the 10th chapter. It was in the Babylonian captivity. So now we got Nimrod. He's a mighty hunter before the Most High. He's an evil man that the Most High, he's against the Most High. He has an empire known as Babel. All people are together. They're all on the same. And as a united people of everyone on the earth, they decide that they're going to build a tower to reach unto heaven. no? Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me now? All right. Okay, Most High in Christ. I'm good on YouTube. YouTube, y'all hear me? Know what happened? It just all right. Okay, so we got Genesis, the 10th chapter. Nimrod is a mighty hunter before the Most High. His birthday is that December the 25th. All right. Nimrod was a mighty king. He died in war, in a battle. He married his mother, Semiramis. You understand? Depending if you're reading in the English, you're reading the New Testament, the wording might be the same. His mother's name is Semiramis, also called Sheramesis, because they're saying it wrong. But it's Semiramis is her name. She married her son. She ruled one half of this great Babylonian empire. That son ruled the other half. When her son died one day in battle, she wanted to maintain control over this empire. So she says, my son has died, but my son is not really dead, even though he's gone, because everybody know he died in battle. His spirit lives in the evergreen tree. That is why all of the trees die in the winter, which was his birthday, December the 25th. The beginning of winter is when? December 22nd. So you got the beginning of winter is coming. Things are dying. Nimrod is dead. His birthday comes around. His mother, who wants to maintain control of the empire. Remember, he's a mighty hunter. He's got power. He's got a world empire that he's ruling. She says, my son's spirit lives in that tree. And because his spirit lives in the tree, every year on his birthday, which is why we are not supposed to celebrate birthdays, it's another heathen custom. Every year on his birthday, everyone needs to come and bring gifts to my son, which is where you get the tree. You would take the gifts and put them underneath of great trees, a great tree. The star at the top of the tree is to represent that mother. This disgusting heathen married his mother, had sex with his mother, married his mother, so that both of them could have full control of the empire. When he died, she wanted to maintain control over his subjects. She says, my son's spirit lives in the evergreen tree. That you have to bring gifts to. If you did not bring gifts to put under my son's tree, she would have her henchmen come to whoever's house, whoever's family did not bring gifts to put under the tree. And then they would kill you and your family. They would take the severed heads of the people who did not put gifts under those trees, and they would hang those heads from the trees. Which is why today you're not putting severed heads on the trees. You're putting Christmas bulbs on the trees. You ever looked around and see why that Christmas bulb is shaped so strange? The rest of the Christmas decorations look some way, but that Christmas bulb is shaped very strange. You understand? Well, those heathens would sever heads and hang them from the tree to let everyone know that don't be this guy. Don't be him. That he didn't care about his family. That's why he didn't bring gifts to Nimrod on his birthday. And that is why he failed his family. And they're dead. Which is exactly, if you have a family that is in the world and you have children and you got a wife in the world and your mother, they will look at you and treat you as an absolute failure if you don't bring toys to put under the Christmas tree every year. No matter if you're homeless, no matter if you don't have a job, no matter if the entire city is homeless, you are a failure, which is why they're going to go out and rob your grandmother. They're going to rob wives and old ladies and break jaws to get toys that are on sale so that they can put gifts under that tree, because that is the true spirit of Christmas. You understand? That's the true spirit. Of course, the Lord is telling Jeremiah to tell the brothers and sisters, don't be afraid of them. The tree doesn't have power, because when you saw that tree, The tree didn't make you say, yay, it's Christmas. The tree made you say, oh my God, I get presents. They're going to kill me. If I don't get presents, my family, my kids, my wives, what am I going to do? I got to get this money. I got to get this Christmas. It's Christmas. Oh my gosh, it's Nimrod's birthday. I got to get presents. If I don't get presents, I'm a failure. They're going to kill us. Like that was a source of anxiety. Just like Christmas today is a source of huge anxiety. A lot of people want to pretend that they're having a good time. It's Christmas cheer, Christmas cheer. I can tell you, there is few things in life that is more stressful than shopping for Christmas presents. The amount of stress, finding the presents, getting the money, going from store to store, trying to get the food together, fighting with your aunts and your cousins and your sisters to see whose house everybody is going to go to. You understand? Money missing, money short, waiting for the check to come in, you're borrowing money, you're sacrificing the rent and the car note. It's a horrible, stressful time. You understand? It's extremely stressful. And it is against the Most High. It is a heathen custom. And we are not supposed to do that. You understand? That is where that Babylonian custom comes from. It predates Christ by thousands of years, has nothing to do with Christ, nothing to do with the God of the Bible. 1,000 years before Christ was even born, Christ was born around the time of the Passover, which is the springtime. Passover coming up in April. Coming up in April in Raleigh, North Carolina. You understand? Everybody get ready. All right? But that's when Christ was, let me see, it is a precept in here, 12 years old. It doesn't give you the exact date that Christ was born because that's irrelevant. We didn't keep and worship dates. Those things did not matter to us. You understand? The amount of days, this number of days in this month, this number of days in this week, we don't name our days. Our oppressor names the months. I mean, we have our oppressor names the days of the week. Those days are all dedicated to their gods. You got Thor for Thor's day, Saturday for Saturn, Sunday for the sun worship. All of these things, you understand? All of these things are the worship of a god. The entire society that we are living in is the worship, is the Babylonian Empire. Every god is here. Every religion is here. If you go into the Middle East, you will not have a country where the Muslims and the different religions is all in the same place. They will cut the country in half and completely section it off to separate the people that follow this belief and the people that don't. That's why India and Pakistan are the same people. They split and made two separate countries because half of the family decide to worship the gods of the Arabs. The other half of the family worship the traditional East Indian gods. You understand? Nowhere. Everyone is separate, divided, their own area, their own community. Except when you come here, all gods are welcome. All people are welcome. All faiths, all beliefs. Same way in the Christian church, they incorporated every nation of people's beliefs and made them Christian traditions. Like All Hallows Eve, which was that Druid festival, all of those things, they made them Christian. This celebration is no different. Instead of it being the worship of Nimrod, now in his birthday, now they say, well, this is the birth of Christ. When nowhere in the Bible, Christ's birthday was not celebrated. They didn't celebrate his birthday. He didn't celebrate his birthday. There's no record of him or any of us celebrating our birthdays. Only heathens celebrating the birthdays. You understand? That's not our heritage. So, as you have, and of course, when Nimrod dies, it was more that I wanted that. Incest. It was more on there. Let me see if we can find that. Nimrod was the king, the mighty hunter. You understand? He had a son. I want to get it. Nimrod, Tammuz. You understand? Tammuz once, Semiramis, not even once. Tammuz. Tower of Babel. I want to get that because that is important. Let me see if we get Tammuz. Nimrod. And this is not even things that are hidden. Take me to Mark chapter 7 and verse 8. I want to get the rest of this, see if I can find the rest of this for Nimrod and Tammuz. Let me see if I can just look up Tammuz.
Mark chapter 7, verse 8. For laying aside the commandment of God.
Hold on one second. Hold on, brother. Hold on, brother. Don't just read. Give me 1 second. I want you to get it for me. I don't want you to go yet. All right. Just hold on for just a moment. No sweat. Fertility, powers, Tammuz, Mesopotamian religion. Mesopotamia is where life started. Life started, that is in the Middle East, Iraq. That's where life began. All right. Tammuz. Modern Assyrian 28 days. Fertility. Gregorian camel, Assyrian, Babylonian month. Established the Tammuz, Sumerian shepherd god. Consort, Akkadian Ishtar. Called practice, dead, widely mourned in ancient East of Sumerian Tammuz. It's too much. I'm not finding exactly. Well, anyway, Nimrod, he died. The mother had a son. That son said that my son's spirit is reborn. It said he's reborn. This is my son right here, Tammuz. Tammuz, which is where they try to get that Trinity, that whole pagan Trinity from, the same one that Christianity adopted from ancient Babylon, where their belief with the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, a woman who has a magical baby that never had sex, that is now the sun, the rebirth of the great sun, worshiping the sun, which is why they changed the Sabbath day to Sunday, to bring in the worship of the sun religions. All of the people who worship the sun, all of those pagans now brought into Christianity so that Rome could rule over them and get their wealth and make them a part of their empire. All of that is Babylon all over again. The Egyptians worship the sun. All of the ancient heathens and their customs to worship the sun because they need the sun to grow their crops. They need the sun for fertility. This Tammuz, if you look him up, is supposed to represent the fertility, the sun king, all of those things. Then you have this trinity of that son that dies, that's reborn, the magical virgin who never had sex that had a baby. And now this spirit of the slain son that is now the reborn, and now they turn and flip that to make that about Christ. You understand? To make that Trinity for Mary and the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, and Mary, the magical virgin, which of course we know from actually reading the Bible, Mary had sex with Joseph to make Christ. That's how you make babies. She had sex with Joseph. She got pregnant with Christ. Christ was Joseph's son. That's why we read in Luke, the 3rd chapter, the entire lineage of Christ from verse 23 all the way back to Adam. You understand? Down to verse 38, who are the sons of God. This comes from Christians lying and scheming and hustling so that they can make money. Bring in the pagans to make money. Bring in all of these things. It's all about money. Doesn't have anything to do with worshiping the God of the Bible. Certainly has nothing to do with Christ. Christ was born, let me get that scripture, 12 years old. It should be, right. Jerusalem, the custom of the feast, Luke 2 and verse 42. I don't need you to go there. Luke chapter 2 and verse 40. It says, and the child grew and waxed strong in spirit. He's getting strong and stronger because he's growing. He's filled with wisdom, and the grace of the Most High was upon him. The Spirit of the Lord is upon him. Verse 41. Now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover. What is the feast of the Passover? It's talking about the Passover. When is the Passover? It's in the spring. Everybody knows that. Every Jew knows that. Everybody knows that everywhere. Passover is never in the winter. It's the springtime. His parents are going to Jerusalem. Verse 42. And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast. It says about this time of the Passover, he's 12 years old after the custom of the feast. All right. In the winter, they couldn't get anywhere for Christ to be born. That's why he was not born in a manger. He was born in a cave. Why could they not find a place to have this baby? Why couldn't they find a place? Who knows? Real quick, why couldn't they find a place? Because every Jew, if you read Acts, the 2nd chapter, every Jew from every country under the sun is coming to Jerusalem for the Passover. There's nowhere to stay. Everywhere is full. That's why they end up having the baby in a cave. Not in a manger in a barn somewhere, like the Christian church teaches. Is born in a cave. You understand? He had very lowly, very humble, very poor beginnings to shame the rich, bougie, big head Negro leaders, which is why they said in John chapter 1 and verse 45, can any good thing come of Nazareth? Because he was Christ from Nazareth. Because Nazareth wasn't a wonderful place. It was Nazareth Terrace, Nazareth Heights. You understand? The Parkway at Nazareth. You understand? Nazareth Gardens Homes. That's where Christ was from. A terrible place. And that's why they said that. And that's why the Lord had it done that way, to shove it in the face of those big head, bougie, rich religious leaders that think that their education and wealth made them special to the Lord, when the Lord took a poor man from the ghetto, you understand, without a formal marriage ceremony, that he got his young bride pregnant. They had a baby out of what Christians would consider wedlock, even though we know that sex is marriage, which made them married. And this baby from this horrible town of Nazareth became the king of the Jews that was the chosen of the Lord. He was born around the Passover in the springtime. He was not born on December the 25th. The whole Christmas thing has nothing to do with Christ. It's just a scam. It angers the Most High. And when the Lord comes to send the evil to plague sinners, and you have celebrated Christmas, when you go to the grocery store, this is how you get sucked into the tragedies. When you get pulled over at the traffic stop, this is how you end up getting killed when your car breaks down. This is how you end up being violated on the side of the road by the goddamn state highway patrol, because the evil that we have done following these things, we are without the protection of the Lord in this very evil place that is filled with evil. Revelations say this is the cage of every foul and hateful bird. You understand? That's what this place is. That's Babylon. All people, any desire that people want, they can come here and push it. A man want to be a woman want to be a man. You want to kill your baby, want to have sex with another man's woman. You want to worship the sun, the moon, and the stars. You want to bring all people together. Anything. A woman want to leave her man. You want to build feminism and make a woman a queen and prop her up to rule the world. Any wicked desire that the Lord did, which caused him to flood the planet and kill everybody but 8 people, you can come here and do in this Babylonian empire. And the Lord is against it. And with that, this has nothing to do with Christmas. You understand? So everybody knows that's what December the 25th is. Do not celebrate Christmas. Don't celebrate Christmas. You understand? Don't put a tree up. Don't buy gifts. Don't help anyone buy gifts, wrapping paper, nothing. You understand? Tell them you're sick. You're not feeling well. You need to rest. You're tired. My foot, my hand, whatever. I'll see everybody the day after. You understand? And eventually, they will realize that you do not celebrate Christmas. You understand? But that's all you do. All right? And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. All right? We're going to wrap up the class here, both sign Christ. Let's get these things up here real quick. They moving pretty slow. All right, both sign Christ. Clap it up. You understand? While the Most High in Christ, brothers and sisters tuning in, getting it on. All right. ISUPK security announcements. We can get that in just a moment. Not here. All right. Of course, remember to pay your tithes. Pay your tithes. Make sure you're paying your tithes. All right. Get prepared to pay your tithes. All right. Mind them up here. All right. Got the ISUPK security announcements. The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We start out at 1 West, 125th Street in Harlem, New York. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a brother and sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to learn and share themselves with the world. They need transportation. The teacher will arrange it. Ties. You understand? If a brother or sister has a particular interest in any person, they're to get counsel from the head to speak to a brother and sister. You understand? After that 6-month period, there's an additional 6 months in which they will court each other, where they would get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, 10% of any penny, the increase of the Most High gives to you. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10 means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'ashara. You understand? Give right to the school. Go right on the website. Pay your tithes there. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. The upcoming holy convocation. Right now, we are in Hanukkah, remembering our wars that we battled to fight against the Greeks, to reclaim our heritage and take the temple back, which is why it says in the New Testament that there is neither Jew nor Greek. It's saying Jew nor Greek because the Greeks are referring to the Jews that were forced to take Greek as their culture, as their language, because the Greeks came in and slaughtered us and forced us to no longer profess that they were a Jew. Same reason Kyrie Irving got in trouble. Same reason Kanye West got in trouble. You understand? Which is what Hanukkah is about. All right. Next high holy day that is coming up. We got the Passover is coming up. You understand? Everybody get ready for the Passover. Communications are going to be going out. Everybody will need to start reserving your hotels. It's going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina. You understand? The information, communications are going. Get ready to reserve your hotels. You understand? Make sure you do them immediately. Start reserving your hotels. The information is going to get around to everybody. Make sure that you calling and getting in. All right. You watching classes online. You in a different city or state. Make sure always that we tell you in class, contact whatever city or school that you are nearest to. Get in contact with there. All right. And with that, you understand? Lastly, if any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, it'll be in all black. Black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and war scarf. And with that, Imadium, which means to stand. We're going to give, all right? We're going to give one courtesy salute. All right. Son of Christ, you might need to adjust your camera, young man. Yeah, it might just be easy. We're going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Ahmad Shabbat, Ahmadium, Barak.
Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua broke us up.
Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua Barakatham. Yadi Matah. SARS means the term. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Yadi Matah means hands down. We'll give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Ahmad Shabbat, Ahmadium, Barak. Yahweh Shamar.
Yahweh Shamar Alatham Ba'ashim Yahushua.
Yahweh Shamar Alatham Ba'ashim Yahushua. Yadi Matah, which means hands down. Class dismissed. The water I keep Most High in Christ. Leave your comments, like, share, subscribe. You understand? With that, shalom. Water I keep. What?